Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards is a side-scrolling platformer similar to previous games in the Kirby series. Its story begins when dark matter invades Ripple Star, a planet populated by fairies. The fairy ribbon flees with a sacred crystal, but dark matter shatters it and spreads it across the galaxy. Ribbon lands on Pop Star and meets Kirby, who agrees to help retrieve the shards and defeat dark matter. Along the way, they enlist the help of artist Adeline, King Dedede, and Dedede's minion Waddle Dee, after each of them stumble upon a crystal shard and end up being possessed by dark matter, forcing Kirby to battle each of them in order to free them from the dark matter's influence. Similar to contemporary platformers such as Pandemonium, 1996, and Klonoa, Door to Phantomile, 1997, Kirby 64 is a 2.5D platformer. Although environments and characters are rendered in 3D computer graphics, gameplay is restricted to a 2D plane. Players control Kirby using the Nintendo 64 controller's D-pad. Like earlier Kirby games, Kirby can walk or run, crouch, jump, and inhale enemies or objects to spit them out as bullets. He can fly for a limited time by inflating himself. While flying, Kirby cannot attack or use his other abilities, though he can release a weak puff of air. By eating certain enemies, Kirby can gain one of 7 copy abilities, power-ups allowing him to take on the properties the enemy possessed. King Dedede is also playable at certain points, and can use his hammer to break objects Kirby cannot. Kirby 64 introduces power combos, the option to combine Kirby's copy abilities. Power combos can be created by inhaling 2 enemies at once, by throwing one ability at another, or by spitting an enemy at another. The latter 2 methods create a colored star that can be collected to obtain the power combo. There are 28 possible combinations, which are stronger than normal copy abilities or have added effects. For instance, by combining the Burn and Needle abilities, Kirby can shoot fire arrows. Players can also mix 2 of the same abilities, which will increase their power. The game takes place across 6 worlds, which are split into several levels. After the player selects a level, they must navigate it while avoiding enemies and obstacles. If Kirby or King Dedede touches an enemy or hazard, he loses health. Health can be replenished by eating food scattered across levels. If all health is lost or the character falls off the bottom of the screen or gets crushed by a moving object, the player loses a life. Losing all lives results in a game over. Players can earn lives by collecting stars or 1-ups. Shards of the crystal are scattered about levels, and while power combos are optional, they are required to collect several of the shards. At the end of each level, players play a bonus game to collect food, stars, or cards with information about enemies. Certain levels feature bosses that the player must defeat to proceed. Players must collect all of the crystal shards to reach the game's final boss and true ending. Outside the single-player platforming, a multiplayer game mode can be accessed from the main menu. Here, up to 4 players can compete in 3 minigames: 100-yard hop, a race to the finish line, bumper crop bump, a competition to collect food, and checkerboard chase, a last man standing game. Players can adjust the difficulty level and control Kirby, King Dedede, Adeline, or Waddle Dee.